Okay, let's go.
What is up, everybody? I'm your host, Aiden, and welcome to Around the Rim Radio. Can the Memphis Grizzlies withstand an abundance of injuries? Can the Los Angeles Clippers keep a man in the middle with Zubac out hurt and an older Brook Lopez? And is Luka Dončić actually injured? And if so, what does this mean for the Lakers? Before we dive too deep into the video, this is my first one, so I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit about myself and, kind of get into my story a little bit. So, my name is Aiden. I am 19 years old. I do live in Illinois. I am a huge Lakers fan. I know that's kind of funny. Illinois, Lakers. Not a bandwagon, I promise. So, pretty much, I just started a podcast because I have watched a lot of NBA and basketball and sports podcasters in the past who have given me some inspiration to do this. So, I'm just stepping out of my comfort zone a little bit, starting something new. So I really appreciate you guys jumping on here, and hopefully you guys can hit that sub button and follow me on this journey. I do have a TikTok that you guys can follow as well. I will leave that in the description down below, and you guys can follow me on this journey, and I appreciate you. All right, guys, so let's jump into it. So first off, we're going to start with the Memphis Grizzlies. I saw this from Mark Stein today, and this injury report was pretty crazy. I'm not going to lie. I mean, you look here, you got Brandon Clark with a calf strain. You got Zach Edey out again with ankle stress reaction. He is coming off that ankle surgery, so that is not very shocking there, but I'm surprised to see he's already having a stress reaction injury this soon. You got Ty Jerome, who hasn't even stepped foot on the floor for the Grizzlies this year. Who knows when that will be? I know probably a month ago they were looking maybe 6 to 8 weeks out, so we might be coming up on a re-evaluation there. You got John Conchar with a thumb UCL surgery recovery, Ja Morant ankle sprain, Scottie Pippen Jr. toe surgery recovery. You got Javon Small with turf toe, and then you got Vince Williams with knee soreness. So, I mean, like I said, you got Clark, Edey, Jerome, Conchar, Morant, and Pippen, and a little bit of Vince Williams, who are all rotational players for the Grizzlies. I mean, this is a lot of injuries. You can't really get past that right there. Their next game is against the Oklahoma City Thunder tomorrow night. So, Thunder are obviously very good. They're the number one seed in the West for a reason. They probably weren't going to beat them healthy anyway, but especially not now. But what this means for the Thunder, though, is, the Thunder are not ones to take a game off if an opponent is weak. They are going to punish you night in and night out, no matter who's across the floor, whether it's LeBron James or it's John Conchar. They're going to do what they do. So Thunder, don't look for them to take this one, light or easy. And, they're going to come out and they're going to do what they should do to this Grizzlies team. But what this means for the Grizzlies is not good things. Who knows how long Ja Morant's going to be out. Scottie Pippen Jr., again, I don't know if he's even seen the floor this year, and if he has, it's been very little. Zach Edey just came back not that long ago, and he's already out. So they're going to, have to have a next man up mentality for this upcoming stretch of their season. Can't really put a finger on it, how they're going to do and who's going to be into that rotation. They're going to have to pull some two-way guys up. They're already lower down in the Western Conference, so, we'll see what they can do there. And this is the same story as it was last year for the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, they could not get away from the injury bug. Ja Morant was out. Jaren Jackson Jr. was out a lot. Zach Edey played, but he was still out a lot. Brandon Clark, tore his knee, so he was out as well. They didn't have Ty Jerome last year, but, I mean, again, they were just hurt last year, and they were hurt this year. You could look for them to be a team that could possibly sneak into the play-in, but, it just really comes down to how long these injuries last, because the Western Conference is not one to play with. You fall behind early, you're going to fall behind for the whole season. I mean, that's just plain and simple there. But yeah, I just wanted to jump into that. I saw that, thought it was pretty absurd, especially because they started off decent with an injury report. I mean, they still had some big names on there. I know Ty Jerome was on there, Zach Edey was on there, I believe Pippen was on there, but how it was last season, it was looking a lot better. But as the season goes on, it's just definitely piled up for the Memphis Grizzlies. So we'll see what they can do. We'll keep an eye on it, see how soon they can get Ja Morant back. Um, Ty Jerome's going to be a good player for him. Zach Edey came back and he looked great, played great. He can definitely help them get back to their winning ways. But I really do see the Memphis Grizzlies here sinking in the Western Conference just due to the 8 injuries that I just counted here. So we'll see how that goes, and hopefully that they can, get it together in the Western Conference, because, it's not easy. There's a chance they could get to the 8, 9, 10 seed, make their way through to the play-in, but they're going to have to run into OKC if that's going to be their path, and no team wants to do that. So we'll see what they can do to keep themselves afloat. All right, and then moving over to the Los Angeles Clippers, center Zubac will miss several weeks due to a grade 2 left ankle sprain. So Zubac did suffer a left ankle sprain last night versus the Los Angeles Lakers. I believe it would have been the first or second quarter. He kind of just had it around the elbow, and he just put up a little floater, came down on, I believe, LeBron's foot, and it twisted wrong. He went down and just rolled his ankle pretty bad. What this means for the Clippers, I mean, it means a lot, but it also means a little. The Clippers, they're like 6-20. They're like the 11-12 seed in the Western Conference. They're not really doing anything this year. This does hurt their chances for them to turn it around, definitely. Zubac is one of the best centers in the league. He has always been durable. He's always been reliable. So, it does really hurt, and this is definitely a blow for the Clippers. Hopefully they can get him back as soon as possible. They say several weeks, is that 2 weeks? Is that 4 weeks? Is this 6 weeks? There's no reevaluation timeline on him right now. No exact return date. So the Clippers are going to have to do the best that they can with what little they have to manage this big of a loss in the middle position. They do have Brook Lopez, who has been pretty reliable over his years, in Milwaukee and stuff like that, but he's also an older guy. He's not very post dominant anymore. He shoots the 3 ball a lot. He shoots it very well, but they're going to be missing this dominant big man presence in the paint, and that's just going to be the honest truth of it there. They're going to really struggle when they go against the agile big man. Not saying that Zubac was super agile, but he's a lot quicker than Brook Lopez is now. So, they're going to go against Jokic. That's one less big body that you can throw at him. When they go against the healthy Embiid, they're going to go against Anthony Davis, Karl Anthony Towns. They're just going to drag him out to that 3-point line and take him on the perimeter. They're going to need a lot of background help, that weak side help coming from, is that Kawhi Leonard? Is that, Nicholas Batum now? Is that, James Harden might play some of that role as well? They're down a lot of wings. John Collins could definitely step into that role as well. He can probably play some of the backup 5 if Brook Lopez doesn't start. I would imagine Brook Lopez would start, just given that they would need that size in the middle, but I definitely could see John Collins slipping into that starting 5 role and playing kind of a small ball center lineup, and then bringing Brook Lopez off of the bench for the Clippers. This really, like I said, really does hurt the Clippers here, and it hurts their chances of even slipping into the play-in. They're not into the play-in right now, but, I don't see how this makes it any easier for them to climb up that hill. Zubac, I mean, he's averaging a double-double. He's a double-double machine, probably giving them a good, 15, 16 points with, 11, 12, 13 rebounds. So they're definitely going to miss a lot of that presence in the middle. But, I'm going to be interested to see what Brook Lopez can do for the Clippers, because I've always been a high fan of Brook Lopez. I thought he was good. As you guys know from the beginning of the video, I am a Lakers fan. I kind of wanted him in LA just because of his 3-point shooting. He's a great shot blocker. I don't want to dismiss him as that. I just know that he's older, not as fast, overall just not as good as a player as he typically was when he was younger, which that happens to everybody with age. But yeah, I mean, they're just going to have to play a different style of basketball now because James Harden loves to get into that pick and roll action and lob it up to Zubac, who is he's not a high flyer type of center, but he can definitely jump, and he is a good lob threat to have with James Harden. Brook Lopez doesn't play that role. He's more of a pick and pop type of guy where you're going to see Brook Lopez set a screen for James Harden. Not saying he can't roll, but Brook Lopez is really going to pop out for that three more often than not. Take the 3-point shot over the lob dunk that he isn't really going to get thrown anymore. So, this is going to hurt more than just, the Clippers as a whole. When you get into the individual players, it's going to hurt James Harden, I think, just because of how he plays. He loves that pick and roll to the rim. Now it's pick and roll to the 3-point line. He's not going to have as much as a lob threat unless, like I said, they step John Collins into that starting five role. He is definitely more of a high flyer than Brook Lopez. Not as tall, but he can definitely get up there and catch those lobs better than Brook Lopez can. But I'm interested to see how it goes for the Clippers. We'll see what they can do. We'll keep an eye on it. Hopefully he gets reevaluated soon. I really do like Zubac. Hate to see him go down, especially with all the injuries that we have seen throughout the league from start to now. The Grizzlies are looking bad. Clippers are kind of starting to pile up. I believe Derrick Jones Jr. is out or was out for a while. So, that's a pretty big loss there, but we'll see how the Clippers can manage it. All right, last but not least, we are going to get into breaking. Luka Dončić will not return tonight. He developed a lower leg contusion. So there's no exact report on Luka Dončić, whether he is hurt, if he's going to be out. As the time I am recording this, there is no report like that. I did watch the game. I didn't catch where he got the leg contusion. I'm hoping it is a leg contusion and not a strain. I know Luka does have a past of calf strains, leg strains, stuff like that. So I'm really hoping it is a contusion. I did see a video where he was out on the perimeter on the left wing and he kind of had a defender on his hip. He kind of turned, looked like the knee went into the calf to the spot that he was grabbing. There's no indication or indicator that that was the play, but based off what I've seen in the research I've done, that does look like what happened. So that's a good sign. You don't want to see, players hurt, especially a player like Luka, but you would rather it be a contact contusion injury over a non-contact injury. So I'm hoping that's what happened here. If he is hurt, say he misses a couple games, or say he misses the next couple games, it is a leg contusion. It's not the end of the world for the Lakers. They got a really good start, even with all the injuries that they've had. Reeves was out for a while. LeBron missed the first 15 games. Ayton's been out. Maxi Kleber was out. I know he's not a key rotational player. Gabe Vincent's been out. Marcus Smart's been out. Jackson Hayes has been out. I mean, the Lakers, every player's been out besides Jake LaRavia. So I believe they have 16 new starting lineups, and we're only, little over about 25 to 30 games into the season. So they definitely are going to know how to manage it. But losing someone like Luka, if this is the case, there is no managing it, to be honest. If he is hurt, they're just going to have the next man up mentality. Like I said, I know Reeves is currently out. LeBron's older. He's not carrying the teams like he was. So hopefully it's just 0 games to a couple games. I know that they have the Phoenix Suns coming up on Tuesday. And then their next game is actually going to be on Christmas against the Houston Rockets. So we'll keep an eye on Luka Dončić. They do play on Tuesday. As I am recording this, it is Sunday. So they should have an injury report on Monday. And we'll keep an eye out for that as well. But yeah, if the Lakers lose Luka again, this would be the third time this year. That's definitely going to suck. They haven't been playing as well of basketball as they were towards the beginning of the year. Luka's a significant piece. He's their leading scorer. He's the leading scorer in the league. He's their leading passer. He's the most ball dominant player. When you lose a player like Luka, especially with a roster like the Lakers, you lose a lot of ball handling. I've noticed that this year they've gotten pretty short on ball handling when, Luka and LeBron are out, or Reeves and LeBron, or Luka and Reeves, whatever it is, they get pretty short-handed on ball handling pretty quick. they can turn to Gabe Vincent, Marcus Smart, Bronny James, Nick Smith Jr., but no one's near Luka Dončić, so you're losing a big piece there. Definitely, you definitely are losing a big piece there, and you're going up against a physical defense in the Phoenix Suns too. I mean, they got Dylan Brooks that's going to defend. They got Ryan Dunn that's going to defend. Devin Booker honestly isn't the worst defender in the world. Mark Williams is pretty good. I mean, they're just a physical team that's going to beat you up, especially with Dylan Brooks going against LeBron. He's going to bring that physicality every night. So you just got to watch for teams like that. But then you got to go against the Houston Rockets on Christmas. Then you got Amen Thompson. Then you got Sengun, Jabari Smith, Tari Eason. Great defenders there. I mean, Sengun's not going to be on Luka a lot, but when you get into Tari Eason, Jabari Smith, Amen Thompson probably is going to be the main defender on Luka if Luka Dončić plays. If Luka's out, then you could be looking for Thompson to guard possibly LeBron, or I wouldn't be surprised if they put him on Austin Reeves if Austin Reeves is available for the Christmas Day game against the Rockets. So, all indicators show that it was a contact injury, which is good to hear. I'm really hoping that's the case. Like I said, non-contact injuries are the worst injuries that you can get into. But we'll just have to keep an eye on the situation, see if he's available for Phoenix. Are they going to rule him doubtful, questionable? Is he going to be just out? Is there going to be a reevaluation period? We'll really have to keep an eye on that. So we'll see what the Lakers can do moving forward. I mean, they're down 4 starters right now, and Luka, Reeves, Rui missed last game as well, and then DeAndre Ayton. So Lakers are getting pretty lengthy in their injury report as well. We'll have to keep an eye on it, see what it says on Monday for the game at Phoenix. So we'll just keep an eye there. Alright everybody, that is going to be it for this video. If you want to see some more content like this, hit that sub button down below with those post notification button enabled as well. I do plan on posting about 2 to 3 times a week with a live stream as well. So you can tune into that live stream, ask me some questions revolving the NBA, and I will be more than happy to answer those questions for you and talk about that. And if you guys have any tips or recommendations for a backdrop behind me, please let me know. I do have a wall back here behind this really bright white screen, so I know that might be easier for you watching that. You don't have to look at a really white, bright screen. So just let me know if you have any recommendations on that. And I'm going to leave my TikTok down below in the bio. Check that out and follow me on there as well. So I really appreciate you guys hopping on to my first ever podcast, and you guys have a good holiday. Thank you.